Myself, Dr. Kavalpreet. I'm with you. I'm changing just background of this. I hope you all are fit and fine. So let's start with the today's lecture. So let's start with the lecture. Good evening, everyone. I'm visible to everyone. I'm audible to everyone. Can you give me your feedback, please? Good evening, Arush. Good evening, Anshul, Gungun, Vishal. Okay. Good evening, Arush. Okay. Let's start today's lecture. Let me share my PPT with you all. 2 minutes, please. Okay. Is my PPT is visible to everyone? Okay. Thanks for your feedback, Arush. Good evening, Bhumin. Good evening, Meenal. Good evening, Vishal. Smartha, good evening. Yes, as you have told me in the last class that you want to discuss some objective and some subjective questions of all the chapters, right? As we have completed the syllabus, so today I thought I'll plan one of the lecture, the last lecture of your subject of PPT, so of PPL, so Principle of Programming Language. So today is your last lecture of PPL. So I was planning that I will give you this lecture, best lecture, because I want to be cover all the question answers, all the objective, all the subjective question answers of all the chapters, so that you will get an idea. Yeah, sure. At the end, Arush, I will do it. Is this clear? So today we are going to discuss the objective questions and the subjective questions of all the chapters. Is this clear? So this will be beneficial for you for the for the exam point of view. So let's start with the today's lecture. Okay. So that will I hope you will get a benefit from these slides. So these are the guidelines. You are very much aware of this. right? So the first objective question is, a computer is an electronic device that accepts data, processes it, and produces what? It produces information, signals, program, or instructions. So what is the answer? That accepts the data, processes it, and produces information. The physical components of a computer are called, what are the physical components of a computer? Hardware. Software, hardware, firmware, liveware. That is hardware. A programming language is mainly used to design hardware, communicate instructions to a computer, store data only, or control electricity. What is the answer? A programming language is mainly used to, in the four options. So, design hardware, communicate instructions to a computer, store data only, or control electricity. What will be the output? What is the right answer of this objective? A programming language is mainly used to communicate instructions to a computer, right? Yes, very right. So the CPU is considered, the CPU is what? Brain of software, brain of the computer, storage unit, or input unit. So CPU is considered as the brain of the computer, right? Yes, right, Bhumin. Very good. So this is your kind of revision of all the chapters. So attend this class attentively. Okay. Next question. Machine language. Machine language is consists of English words, binary digits 0 and 1, symbols or sky characters. So machine language consists of 0 and 1. The first generation of computers used what they are using? Transistors. Just a second. Please hold on. Yeah, sorry to interrupt you. So next is, okay. So next question is, just a second. Yeah. So next question was, okay, this is for your attendance. You have marked. Okay. Machine language consists of English words, binary digits 0 and 1, symbols or sky characters. The machine languages consist of binary digits 0 and 1. First generation of computer use transistors, vacuum tubes, ICs, or microprocessors. The first generation of computer used vacuum tubes. What they are using? Tell me. First generation of computer used vacuum tubes. So which generation introduced high level languages? First, second, fourth, or fifth? Which generation use high level languages? Second generation. Yes, right, woman. Fortran was developed mainly for business application, scientific and engineering calculations, artificial intelligence, or system programming. What is the right answer? So, Fortran was developed mainly for scientific and engineering calculations. So, what is the full form of Fortran language? Fortran. Anyone knows? Tell me. It's a formula translation language. That is a Fortran, right? The use of ICs began in which generation? First, second, third, and fourth. The ICs began in which generation? That is in third generation, right? Yeah. Fifth generation computers are mainly associated with batch processing, multi-programming, artificial intelligence, machine language. So fifth generation computers are mainly associated with, tell me everyone. Yes, fifth generation computers are mainly associated with artificial intelligence. What is the right answer? Fifth generation computers are mainly associated with AI. Which feature refers to handling different types of tasks? Which feature? Feature means they are asking about feature. Feature handling the different type of tasks. Versatility, speed, accuracy, automation. Obviously, first versatility refers the handle the different types of tasks. Right? Next question is you just see the yeah, right, woman. Everyone just see the next two, three questions. Okay. Give me a seconds, please. Yes. Sorry to interrupt you. Yeah. So readability in a programming language depends on compiler speed, simplicity and clarity of syntax, execution time, memory usage. So readability in a programming language depends on simplicity and clarity of syntax, right? So readability in a programming language depends on simplicity and clarity of syntax. Which issue in language design deal with the ease of writing programs? Which issue in a language design? Readability is clear. This question is clear. In programming language, general syntactic criteria is readability. So why we said this in a programming language readability depends on it depends on the simplicity and the clarity of syntax. As simple, as clear the syntax of the language is there, as much that language is readable or a readability is there. Right? Is this clear to everyone? Clear? Okay, woman. Now, which issue in language design deal with ease of writing programs? So it's related to the writing programs. What is ease? If which issue in language design deals with is related to the writability. So writability in language design deal with the ease of writing programs. Type checking helps in improving. So type checking means we are checking static or a dynamic type checking we have learned. Na? We have learned in the chapter type checking. Do you remember type checking? Two types of type checking we have done. Static and at the compile time and at the run time. So that helps in improving speed, reliability, cost, or portability. So it's a reliability check. So compile time or runtime checking. Why we are doing checking in the programs? These type checking for the reliability, for the correctness of a program. Which issue in language design deal with the ease of writing programs? That is writability. Writability in language design deal with the ease of writing programs. Which of the following is the design issue related to data types? Okay, Priyanshu. Which of the following is a design issue related to data types? Loop control, type compatibility, syntax rules, program execution. Clear? So type checking helps in improving reliability. This we have done. So which of the following is the design issue related to data types? It's a loop. So data type 2, which design issue related to data types? See the question, read the question carefully. It's they are discussing about data type. So data type is type compatibility. So they are compatible with each other, like float is compatible with int or int is compatible with int. Syntax rules or the program execution. Type compatibility, data type compatibility is important in a design. Is this clear? All the four MCQs? Tell me everyone, is this clear? So let's move to the next one. A programming paradigm. Some Wi-Fi issue has occurred. Yes, it's done. So which of the following is a programming paradigm is so some network issue has arrived. Now it's fine. I'm audible. Okay, Gungun. Thanks for your feedback. Okay. So a programming paradigm is a hardware design, a style or approach of programming, a compiler, or an operating system. A programming paradigm is a style or an approach of programming. It's a kind of style of programming, or you can say approach of programming. Is this clear? Which of the following is a procedural programming language? C, Prolog, Lisp, SQL. So C language is a procedural programming language, right? Is this correct? Now comes to the next object-oriented programming. Programming mainly focuses on Object-oriented programming mainly focuses on functions, object and classes, logic rules, data flow. Tell me, what is the right answer? Object and classes. Lisp is an example of which paradigm? Lisp programming language, that is a list processing. Lisp full form? Tell me. Lisp full form. List processing. So this is an example of which language? Procedural paradigm, functional paradigm, object-oriented paradigm, or structure paradigm. So that Lisp is a language is a example of functional paradigm, right? Now let's move to the next slide. Which paradigm is best suited for AI applications? Which paradigm is best suited for AI applications? Procedural, logic programming, structured, or assembly? Which paradigm is best suited for artificial intelligence applications? Procedural, logic programming, structured, or assembly? So answer is logic programming. Functional programming avoids side effects and mutable data, recursion, mathematical functions. So functional programming avoids side effects and the mutable data. So we have two types, mutable or immutable. Mutable, that you can change it, you can change the state of the program. Immutable, that you cannot change it. So functional programming in a functional programming, we can avoid the side effects and the mutable data. Recursion, mathematical functions or expressions. So functional programming avoids side effects and the mutable data. Next question, a language with poor regularity may leads to a language with the poor regularity may lead to faster programs, more programmer errors, better optimization, or better portability. So the language with poor regularity may lead to more programmer errors, right? The poor regularity, what? So if you have not a, in a language you are using a poor regularity. Regularity means you are not putting proper syntax, semicolon, inverted commas. So that will be a, what will be the problem? More programmer errors will come. If you will, if you have a poor regularity, you are not ending the braces, you are not ending the statement with the semicolon, or you are not using the function properly, then it will give you more error. Which of the following is not a language paradigm? Procedural, object-oriented, compiler-based, or functional? Which of the following is not a language paradigm? Procedural is a paradigm, object-oriented is also a paradigm, functional is also a paradigm, compiler-based is not. Just to see the question properly, they are asking not language paradigm, that is a compiler-based. Is this clear, all the four questions? Shall I move to the next slide? Give me the feedback, everyone. Hurry up. Okay, Arush. Regularity in a programming language means, tell me, regularity in a programming language means compiler, complex syntax, uniform and consistent language constructs, faster execution, fewer keywords. So regularity in a programming language means you are regular in a programming language by using all their syntax. That means you have a uniform and a consistent language constructs. A highly regular language is generally, those are highly regular language. They are generally easier to learn and remember, slower, less readable, machine dependent. So that is easier to learn and remember. So regular language, the highly regular language is generally easier to learn and remember, right? Which of the following reduce regularity? Which reduces the regularity? Many special cases and exceptions. Which of the following reduces the regularity? Tell me, everyone. Which reduces the regularity? Consistent syntax rules, many special cases and exceptions, uniform data types, clear semantics. Semantics means meaning. So, which is reducing the regularity? Many special cases and the exceptions that reduces the regularity. Yes. Regularity improves hardware efficiency, readability and writability, execution speed only, or compilation time. Yes, regularity improves readability and writability. Is this clear? All the four? The regularity word, because the term we have used it, regularity. So the many of the question comes in an objective form in the exam. So is it clear? Regularity means in the programming language. Next is static storage allocation is done. Next chapter, you have some new questions of the new chapter. Static storage allocation is done at runtime. You tell me, you know everyone, static storage. This means this is a question of from the last chapter, the last week we have done the chapter of static and stack storage allocation. Static and stack storage allocation, right? So these questions are based on the last chapter. So static storage allocation is done at the runtime, compile time, load time, or during execution. So static storage allocation is to be done at compile time, right? Which of the following variables are allocated using static storage allocation? Which variables are allocated using static storage allocation? Local variables, dynamic variables, global variables, or recursive variables? So the variable that are allocated during the static storage allocation is global variables. Static allocation is most suitable when memory size changes during execution, number of variable is known at compile time, recursion is heavily used, heap allocation is required. So static allocation is most suitable when number of variables is known at compile time. So number of variable is known at a, tell me everyone, number of variables is known at a compile time. So static allocation is most suitable when number of variables is known at a compile time. Stack-based storage management is primarily used to support dynamic arrays, recursion, global variables, or static binding. Yes, recursion. Recursion is the right answer. Static-based storage management, stack-based storage management is primarily used to support recursion, recursive functions. Which data structure is used for stack-based storage management? Queue, tree, stack, or linked list? Which data structure is used for stack-based storage management? Queue, tree, stack, or linked list? It's a stack. Stack is used for the stack-based storage management. An activation record is also known as heap block, stack frame, memory block, or static frame. That is stack frame. Stack frame is an activation record. Activation record is also known as a stack frame. Which of the following is not typically stored in an activation record? What is to be not stored, not typically stored in activation record? Return address, local variables, parameters, or global variables? Which is not typically stored in an activation record? Not typically stored in an activation record. That is global variables. not typically stored in an activation record. That is a global variables. Activation record means stack frame. Those are not recorded in a stack frame. That is global variables, because global variables we are using with the static based storage management. So global variables are not typically stored in an activation record, or you can say a activation record means stack frame. The lifetime of a variable in a stack based storage is the lifetime of variable in a stack based storage is entire program execution until system shutdown while the procedure is active or permanent. So lifetime of variable in a stack based storage is while the procedure is active. Stack based allocation follows which order? FIFO, LIFO, random or priority based? Yes, stack based allocation follows the LIFO. Last in, first out. Which pointer indicates the top of the stack? Which pointer indicates the top of the stack? Base pointer, instruction pointer, stack pointer, or frame pointer? Which pointer indicates the top of the stack? That is which pointer? What is the name of the pointer that indicates the top of the stack? That is a stack pointer. C. Static storage allocation does not support. So static does not support, that is on a compile time, that does not support array, global variables, recursion, constants. Recursion. Who supports the recursion? Stack base. Static nahi. Static storage allocation does not support the recursion. Recursion is to be supported by stack based allocation. In a stack based storage, parameters are usually passed through heap using registers only, through activation records, or through static memory. In a stack based storage, the parameters are usually passed through, stack is related to the activation records. So through activation records, that is stack frame. are usually pass किससे pass होते हैं? Activation record मतलब stack frame. Which storage allocation technique allow memory reuse? Memory reuse. So which memory you can reuse it? Static, stack, both A and B, or neither A nor B. That is allow memory reuse. That is a stack allocation. Stack allocation memory we can reuse. What happens to the activation record after a function returns? What happens to the stack frame after a function returns? It is popped from stack. So when the function returns, the stack elements will be popped from the stack, right? All four are clear to everyone? Which of the following is an advantage of static allocation? Support recursion. Which of the following is an advantage of static allocation? Supports recursion, simple and fast access, efficient memory reuse, flexible memory size. So static allocation advantage is simple and fast access. Which storage management technique is used in C for local variables? Is static or a stack or a heap or register? Which storage management technique is used in C for local variables? For local variables, we are using stack based, right? Vibu? So that is a, just a second. Which language feature requires stack based storage management? This we have done. Yeah. So which language feature requires stack based storage management? That is macro, constants, function calls, or global declarations. So stack-based storage management, function calls. Because the function, when the function is started or the procedure is called, then the variables will go to the stack, and when the function ends, the variables will be popped from the stack. So the function calls require a stack-based storage management. The main advantage of static is fast access and simplicity. Call by reference that copies the value of actual parameter to formal parameter. Reference, name, value, or result. So call by value copies the value of actual parameter to formal parameter. In call by reference, changes made to formal parameters affect those changes is to be done on the formal parameters in call by reference that will affect the actual parameters also. That affect the actual parameters also. Which parameter passing method uses memory addresses? So in which the memory address is related, that is in a call by reference, not in a call by value. It is related to the call by reference. Call by value is also known as copy in. So call by value is also known as copy in. Which parameter passing mechanism delays evaluation? Which delays the evaluation until used? Which parameter passing mechanism delays the evaluation? Delays evaluation until use. That is a call by name. So call by name is a mechanism that delays the evaluation when we are using it. Efficiency of a programming language mainly refers to programming language efficiency depends on time and the space performance. How much time is to be taken to complete it and how much space they are taking in the memory. So these two factors are responsible for the efficiency of any programming language. Which factor affects execution efficiency the most? Language implementation. That is how much time the compiler or the interpreter are taking it for the execution. So that affects the efficiency the most. Compiled languages are generally more efficient than interpreted languages because translate code before they are translating the code before execution. So the compiled languages are more efficient than the interpreted languages. So before that execution of the program, they can translate the code. Now, after learning so many objective questions, now we are going to start the subjective questions, right? I hope many are clear to you. All subjectives are clear to you, and that will give you a benefit also for the preparation of the exam. Now let's start with the subjective questions. I've added some subjective questions also. Define Define expression tree and explain how it will be used in a programming to optimize and simplify the expression. Expression tree is a binary tree that represents arithmetic expression in a structured way. It is used in a programming to evaluate, to manipulate, and simplify the expressions. It is used in a programming. There we can evaluate, manipulate, and simplify the expressions. So it's related to the first structure. Expression tree is a binary tree with the leaf nodes representing the operands and internal nodes representing the operators in a expression tree. Evaluation. Expression tree are evaluated by traversing the tree in a specific order. In which order we are evaluating the tree? In order, post order, or pre order. So this allow for efficient and the recursive evaluation. Manipulation. Expression tree can be used to convert expression from How we are manipulating the expression tree? From infix to postfix? Infix to postfix or prefix notation? Right? From infix to postfix or prefix notation. So that is we called as a expression tree. Expression tree can be used to convert expression from infix to postfix or a prefix notation and vice versa. You can convert infix to postfix and postfix to infix also. Simplification. Expression tree can be used in computer algebra systems and symbolic computation software to simplify algebraic expressions. So simplification is also there. In algebra system, we are using expression trees and a symbolic computation software to simplify the algebraic expression. So simplification is there. Compiler and interpreters. Expression tree are used to represent a program syntax tree in compiler and interpreters. So this makes it easier to evaluate and manipulate the structures. So compilers and how to construct an expression tree using an stack for each character as an input expression. Push the character on the stack if it is an operand like a plus b. So a and b are operands that we are putting in the stack. Pop two values from the stack if the next character is operator. Make the child node of the current node and push the current node back onto the stack. The root of the expression tree will only the element remaining in the stack. At the end, only the root of the expression tree will be left in the stack. Rest are the popped from the stack while evaluating the this. Okay, some more question I have added of the objective that I'll do it later. Okay, now this answer is clear to everyone. Define expression tree and explain how it is used in the programming to optimize and simplify the expressions. So how we are optimizing it in the programming and simplifying the expressions by using the stack. Next, we have difference between explicit and implicit sequence control. Explicit, that is bahari roop se, I told you, when a programmer forcefully deliberately define the order of execution in a program using control structure like loops, if-else statements, and switch statements. While implicit sequence control is the default order of execution determined by the programming language itself. So implicit sequence control is a default order where the statements are executed one after another as they appear in the code unless explicitly modified by the programmer. So essentially explicit I think you got it. Yes, so if you are present, you are listening to me. Explicit gives the programmer direct control over the flow, but implicit is to be done automatically in natural sequence of the code. See the example of explicit sequence control. X is equal to 5. If x is greater than 0, so print x is positive, else print x is not positive. For I in range is 5, if I in range 5, so print I. If the value of I is in the range of 5, we can print. No, it will print I. Explanation of this program is, in this example, the if statement explicitly check yes. If x is positive, execute the corresponding code of block based on the condition. The for loop also explicitly iterates through a range of numbers, controlling the execution flow. So example of implicit sequence control is name is equal to Alice, print hello plus name, print how are you today. So in this example, the if statement explicitly checks if x is positive, and then that executes the corresponding code block that is based on the condition. The for loop also explicitly iterates through a range of numbers, controlling the execution flow. So example, is this clear? Here we are checking with the if x is positive and execute the corresponding code block of the condition. If it is positive, then this, if it is less than 0, then it is x is not positive, right? For example, next implicit sequence control. Name is Alice, print hello plus name. So hello will come out as it is, plus name is Alice. So hello Alice, print how are you today. So here the statement print hello, name and print how are you today will be executed in the order as they appear in the code. So as they are appearing it, as we are executing it, one after the other, without any explicit control structure. But here we have a explicit, because deliberately we are defining the order of execution on that is based on some condition, right? Now, what key points you need to remember about explicit control is more flexible. So programmer can create complex logic and adapt the program flow based on conditions. Implicit is simpler for the basic operations. Its simple order is straightforward. So implicit control can make the code more concise and readable. Next subjective question we have, what is an array index out of bound exception and when might it occur in a program? An array index out of bound exception is thrown when a program attempts to access an element. Is thrown when a program attempts to at an index. Because array index out of bound, like we have made an array of 5 elements and we are trying to access the 6th element. So that is when a program attempts to access an element that is out of bound. Yes, Jasjeet, are you getting it? Whatever I am explaining in the class, it's understood to you? I'm asking from all. Arush, Anshul, Bhumin, Gungun Prince, Salman, Smartha, Sanjana, Yogita. Okay. That is outside the bound of the array. This typically occurs when a program tries to access an element at an index that is less than 0 or greater than or equal to the length of the array. As I've given you example, like I made an array of 5. If we are trying to less than 0, because 5 means we have elements 0 to 4. If we are trying to access the less than 0 or above 4, so that condition we called as an array index out of bound. So what cause an array index out of bound exception? This can happen if the index is negative or greater than or equal to the size of the array. This indicates that the program is trying to access an element at an index matlab position that does not exist. So this can be caused by a bug in the code, such as off by one error or by user input that is not properly validated. So whatever the input we are giving, that is not valid. Here is an example in Java. So we have made an int array of a array name is numbers and we have 5 elements. So here we are we try the 5 elements that we want to store in a x variable. This will throw an array index out of bound exception. And system.out.println will try to print the all 5 elements. So catch will come. So here we have a 5. We want to access at the index 5 that is equal to the array size. They said na equal to the size of the array also will throw the array index of bound. So we are trying to access these 5th in position. So that will catch. So we have made a here I have used the catch exception. Here we have used the exception. Try and catch exception we are using it. So catch will The catch will catch the error of array index out of bound with the object E. So that will print the message error index is out of bound. So in this example, the array number has a length of 5, but the program is trying to access the element at index 5. So which it does not exist because it exists only 0 to 4. 5 means it exists 0, 1, 0 to 4. So the try block contains the code that may throw the exception, and the catch block contains the code that will handle the exception if it is thrown. In this case, it will print the message error index is out of bound as the result in a program. Is this clear? Why it occur in a program? How can you exit from a loop in programming? Next question is how you can exit from a loop in a programming, and what is the difference between break and continue statement. In a programming, you can exit a loop using a break statement. Break statement stop the entire loop, including any remaining iterations when a specific condition is met. Control moves to the next statement after the loop. So break wherever the break statement will occur, that will stop the entire loop, and the control moves to the next statement. Continue statement skip the current iteration of a loop, only the current iteration, not all, only 4. If it is comes on a 4, so fourth will only be skipped. So it will start from, it will continue with the fifth one, but continue the loop with the next iteration. So control remain within the loop. This will come out from the loop, and here in the continue statement, control remain within the loop. Only it will skip only the one iteration. Now here we have a difference because in the question they have asked what is the difference between break and continue statement. Break statement stop the entire process of the loop. Continue statement only stops the current iteration of the loop. Break also terminates the remaining iterations. Continue does not terminate the next iteration. It resumes with the successive iterations. Resumes matlab it will continue with the successive iterations. Break statement can be used with switch statement and with loops. Continue statement can be used with loops but not switch statement. In the break statement, control exits from the loop. In the continue statement, the control remains within the loop. It is used to stop the execution of the loop at a specific condition. It used to skip a particular iteration of the loop. Is this clear, the difference between break and continue? Tell me everyone. If any point is not clear between the difference, you can ask me. I will explain it again because this is the last time. Yes, Ria, tell me which chapters are left. Tell me the name. Some of the chapters are related to each other. So not every chapter is important to discuss in the during the class, during these periods. So PPT we have made it if the two chapter like sub program chapter are two, you have the same chapters, so same two chapters that are based on the sub programs. So I have not taken all the two chapters. It is not based on that I am taking chapter wise from the whatever that they have shared on the LMS, the 14 chapters. I'm not considering it every chapter like that. So those are the common content or the common topics that I'm taking of the from the two modules if it is there. So I've made it a one chapter PPT for that. Okay, so that I will share with you. But as you are saying that there are this 14 chapter and you have discussed only the last chapter is the 11th. So that many chapters are there that are similar to each other. Some one or the two topic is new. So for that I have not make a complete PPT on that every chapters. I've taken a common content of the modules and on the basis of that I made a PPT. What's on the WhatsApp, it's not allowed, beta. I will share it on the Google Drive. you can take it from there, or I will share with the your LMS manager. He will share with you. Yes, as per LMS, yes. Yes. Ye- yes, as they have told me, according to that only I am sharing with you. Okay, I will share it on the Google Drive. This PPT also. These are the important objective and that subjective questions. So that I prepared it from all the chapters. This also I will share with you. And the first, as you are saying, the first also PPT, first chapter PPT also. Yes, yes, beta, कर दिए. Yes, Rida, I've done it. Is this clear? So time is about to over. If you have any other question, kindly ask me. 2 minutes are left. If you have any other question, kindly ask me, please. Otherwise, I will. Okay, I will share chapter 3, chapter 13, and chapter 14 again. Okay, okay, I'll share with this also, Ria. Don't worry. Chapter 3, 13, and 14. Okay, I'll remember. If it So 13 and 14, if it is similar with the other chapters, then I'll share it with you can see the content of them from the other chapters also. If it is a different, then I'll share it differently for you. Okay? Let me check the content of the 13 and 14. Okay, Ria? Any other question that those the topic we have discussed it today in the PPT? If you have any doubt, kindly ask me. Otherwise, I'm ending the lecture because the time is over. And all the best. We will get Google Drive link in the next class. Ask from LMS manager, beta. They will provide you everything. I have shared with them also. Ma'am, last 3 4 lectures की recording नहीं आई. Okay, Rida. I'll ask them. They did not provide it. Okay. I'll talk to their LMS manager, who's ever the concerned person. So I will tell them that kindly provide the recording to you. Okay, or the PPT that I shared with them, they will provide to you. Sure, sure, sure. If it is from my side, then you will not face the problem. I'll do it as soon as possible. Right. Okay, Rida. Don't worry. And all the best for your exams, everyone. Not informing stuff. Okay, okay, okay. Don't worry. It's enough for me. I will talk to them. Okay? Sure, 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 Ria. Rida and Ria, don't worry. I'll just now after finishing this lecture, I'll talk to them and I'll solve the problem that you are facing it. Okay? Bye bye everyone. Take care.